Welcome everybody to Phandom Knights, where we break down pop culture one fandom at a time. Great episode for you today.
Yes!
We're talking about Wandavision, episode 3.
Now in color.
Now in color. Yeah,
Finally.
I'm Chris.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Sherman.
And let's get into this. So this is Wandavision, season 1, episode 3, and everywhere that I keep seeing, they keep saying season 1. They keep listing it as that. So I'm like, I don't think there's any plans for more, but I mean, if this is successful, who knows, you know?
Right.
But this is, I thought I was like going crazy 2 times in this. The first one is when I opened up the episode list, and I'm like, now in color. Oh, there are titles. I missed that last week. How did I not see that? No, they went in and retroactively put titles.
Oh,
in
did
for all
they?
3 of them. Yeah. There was. I looked it up, and there was not titles for the first 2 episodes originally.
Well, I mean,
And
this is only week 2.
They changed the descriptions too on all 3 of them, which there wasn't any changes or anything. But
Okay.
So episode 1 was filmed before a live studio audience. Episode 2 was Don't Touch That Dial, and then now episode 3, Now in Color. So they're all having titles now going from here on in. So
Right on.
it's very interesting.
Do you think maybe in the 50s and 60s they didn't have titles for their episodes?
I think they did, because I definitely know, like, Lucille Ball, like, I Love Lucy had episode titles.
Well, and I know the Dick Van Dyke Show did, but it does on Hulu currently. I don't know if at the time that they were airing that they had.
You know, like at the time, did
right.
Yeah,
They
well,
had
no,
episode
well,
titles.
yeah,
Well-
they definitely did, because, like, I Love Lucy would do, like,
Oh, pop up on
it would
screen.
show the words I Love Lucy, and then it'd wipe away, and then have, like,
The
a
title?
subtitle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know I Love Lucy specifically. There's a lot of lost episodes because they didn't film it. They broadcasted it out and it was never recorded. Like, so there's episodes of I Love Lucy that were never.
Jeez.
Anyways, so the plot to this one, spoilers obviously. This is a huge
Major
spoiler alert.
spoilers, yeah.
I keep putting it in the description, but just so you know, we're completely gonna ruin this for you. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it first.
Yeah.
So quickly, let's go through the plot and then we'll kind of break it down a little bit. Episode 3, Now in Color. Dr. Nielsen checks on Wanda's pregnancy and says she's 4 months along and everything is fine before leaving for an intended holiday with his wife. While Vision sees Nielsen out, his neighbor Herb unknowingly cut through their wall.
Oh, yeah, because it's Herbert.
Yeah. Wanda and Vision paint a nursery while debating what to name their child before Wanda's pregnancy elevates to 6 months. When she begins contractions, her abilities begin to move things in the house and eventually shut down the entire town's power. Geraldine arrives and helps Wanda deliver the twins, Tommy and Billy. Vision catches Agnes and Herb gossiping outside. They talk about Geraldine, who has just arrived in town and does not have a home or family. Inside, Wanda interrogates Geraldine after the latter reveals that she knows Ultron killed Wanda's twin brother, Pietro.
She's just wandering around.
Wanda notices that Geraldine is wearing a pendant with a sword emblem on it. When Vision returns, Geraldine's gone. Outside of Westview, Geraldine is cast out from a wall of static and is surrounded by sword agents. And there's also a commercial during the WandaVision program that advertises Hydra Soak Bath Powder.
Alright, and that's been Phandom Knights.
Yeah. That's just a quick breakdown, but let's kind of go through that. So,
Where to start?
well, previously on WandaVision, I got an epiphany, kind of,
Yeah.
on this one. You know, with all my whole conspiracy theory thing and stuff. The previously on, they talked about the magic show, and then it's for the children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, the talent show fundraiser, Wanda says, the talent show fundraiser is the most important event in the city or whatever. And for the children is kept repeated and repeated. The only children we see in this entire episode series so far is Tommy and Billy, the twins that are born. We never see any other children. And we know that this takes place in a real town or some geographical location, and people are held against their wills. So I feel like the for the children thing is like, no, we got to go through this crazy magic show and put on this show for Wanda so she doesn't kill our children. Or I feel like their children are being held somewhere else.
Well, that's
not in this world.
Do you think
That's-
Wanda went like rogue then or something like that? And kidnapped a bunch of kids?
Either Wanda is like didn't include them in her vision thing, or someone else is causing all this and is holding the children captive. So if someone's doing this to Wanda, they're holding the children captive. if Wanda's doing it, she is either holding him captive or just got rid of him before she started her whole delusion because she just didn't want to mess with kids. So that's what I feel like. It just was like, whoa, we don't see any other children in this whole thing. Not that there's a ton of characters.
Not yet.
Not yet.
There will be other kids, though.
Well, there will be.
Did you watch the trailer 2?
Not recently.
Trailer 2 has a lot there's a whole Halloween episode where there are kids running around the entire neighborhood.
Well, that'll be interesting to see how they come in then.
Sorry, wordplay there. Also, that trailer gives more credibility to Agnes being Agatha Harkness.
Okay.
Her costume is a witch.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That, and I don't know if you guys noticed that pendant either that she wore in episode
I can't tell what is on there.
It's the Grim Reaper.
Is it?
Yep.
I saw a close-up of it from this episode, and it looks like 3 people, or maybe
Yeah,
2
it looks
people
kind of like
standing
weird.
There's a
between
scythe
something.
on it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just what article I read.
There's so many just crazy theories about even like her pendant. It's like I've seen and read so many things where people are just breaking down what's on that pendant and like drawing it out and what is this and what is that, or like the cover of the book that Vision is reading in the opening credit scene. It says pregnancy for, I don't remember what it's titled, but something pregnancy, and it's a red book that he's reading. People are like seeing the drawing on there, and they're like, oh, that's Mephisto drawn on the pregnancy book, and I don't know. It's an actual book that was released, so it's not Mephisto. But anyways, so the previously on just kind of was like, gave me another conspiracy theory to think about.
I mean, that does make sense though. Like this this episode and the last episode definitely have more of like the magic kind of vibes. Because like, I don't know if did you guys catch the Doctor Strange reference in this episode?
No.
So when they're setting up the crib, and she like has that like small contraction that like. Or the kick, sorry.
The butterflies in her stomach?
Yeah. So when that butterfly lands on Vision's nose, that's a monarch butterfly, which is the exact same one that Doctor Strange sees when, like, the ancient one, like, sends him, like, through the mirror dimension. And he's, like, floating out in space, and a monarch butterfly literally lands right on his finger.
Oh, right on Vision, right?
Yeah. Well, on Doctor Strange's hand, like, in that same...
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, like, it's kind of setting... It might be referencing, like, the setup for Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
Well, yeah, I feel like this whole thing is,
but...
It's even said that this leads into the movie.
Yeah, right. But, like, I mean, having, like, a reference to the Sorcerer Supreme, as well as, like, Mephisto, potentially the Salem 7.
Yeah. Again, I feel like movies and TV, there's all these crazy theories, and then what it actually turns out to be is, like, oh, well, that's pretty good. But, like, I wanted to say that this episode was kind of a little bit of a letdown. It was a great episode. It's so far the best episode. But, like, all the crazy conspiracy theories that were going on in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's not as crazy as I was thinking.
Yeah, they're literally, like, but it's
still good. We're just realizing what it is. It's just not the crazy conspiracy theory thing. That's the only letdown. The show itself is amazing. Right. I'm kind of glad that they're not in my head going through all the conspiracies that I'm thinking of, because that would be too crazy.
So in the beginning, when like the doctor is checking in and says that they're already 4 months pregnant after 12 hours, like,
yeah, well, and
I don't think the doctor knows it's only been 12 hours.
Well, I know, but I mean, like, that's what Vision was asking about. But
yeah.
I loved the comic TV reference where it's just like when he's like, oh, you know, some fathers to be get, you know, anxious or like get nervous or whatever, and he's like, I've got nerves of steel.
So I kind of wrote a lot of notes on this one, and I don't really want to go through every breakdown, because like even in the title sequence I have things for that and whatever, but it doesn't really matter because there's tons of videos about that. But I just wanted to talk more about like what's actually happening in the show and stuff, and maybe bring up some of that stuff. But so like the doctor check, well, Vision is a lot of times asking like, how did this happen? What's going on here? He's like trying to figure out the like logic behind things and the how behind things.
Yeah, I think it's just naturally how he works.
Oh yeah, I think it's naturally because he's a robot, and that's naturally how he works. But then as soon as any time he gets into the why things are happening, not the how, but the why, then like stuff goes crazy, and I mean,
oh yeah,
the rewind happens in the second episode, or you know, stuff like that happens. And like in this one, he's saying, how did this happen? How did she get pregnant? How? And what he's saying is like, I'm a robot. How did this happen? And not only that, babies take a while to grow. It's been 12 hours. How? He's not thinking like the higher level, like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking about how, because physics. I should be thinking why, because someone is doing this to her, whether it's Wanda to herself or something, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, like the difference between how and why, because I don't know, what would the why be in this one? I suppose that's the question behind the whole show is, why is all this happening? You know, who's controlling her? You know, does Wanda just want a normal life, or is she being controlled, or what?
Right.
But I don't know. I just lost myself in my thoughts last night for like half an hour just thinking about the differences between how and why, and I'm like, I don't know why. But one thing that I have on here, well, we'll just keep going through it, but I don't know, since we're here, I'll just ask, did Wanda make other people pregnant, do you think? Because she made herself pregnant. There's two theories I have about her pregnancy. One, did she make other people pregnant? Because, like, when her water breaks, her like, the neighbor, Geraldine comes in, the water main's just broke in my house. Like, her water broke for her pregnancy, the water main's broken in her house, and it broke everyone else's water mains. So when she made herself pregnant, did she make other people in the world pregnant? And that's where the mutants come from? Like, that was just a theory I had. I'm like, maybe that's how they're going to explain mutants, because these two kids are like the first mutants.
I don't think so.
She made I don't know.
I think it's literally just an uncontrolled reaction to like the contractions. Yeah. Because like I took it like that. I took that specific scene. I specifically actually took notes for that. So Geraldine comes in asking for a bucket, and because you brought up the whole like extra like middle plane last week, I literally kept thinking about that the whole episode. Yeah. So I'm like, you asked for a bucket, and she specifically says, "I need to bail myself out." Like, do you realize so things are like going down? Like, you need to get out of this place.
Like, oh, I came into this reality to save you, but now I just need to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm like,
right. Well, and I had 3 planes of action, and I thought about it last night, and I'm like, there's honestly like 5, really, if you really think about it.
I've already got 3 down here.
We don't have to go into it crazy, but I was trying to think of the names for the 3 planes, and so I'm like, okay, there's the character level, the sitcom story.
So I put that as TV plane.
Okay. Then the second level is the Wanda level / the mind control level, what Wanda's doing to other people. Maybe.
So I put that as the meta plane, like people like reacting like in the world, but like still having like, it's like the kind of like that fourth wall break where like actual reality is like setting in.
Yeah,
but like people are still kind of like
same description but different name. Yeah. Then the third version is the real world, what's happening outside of her pocket reality and what's actually happening, and then the fourth and fifth are just for us audience viewers. The fourth is Easter eggs. You know, there's tons of references to old shows and to comic books and all that stuff. So the references, and then the fifth level is to what I called the meta, like the meta of what the show means for our real world society. Like, I wrote it down a little bit later, but the fact that like TV kind of lies to us in a lot of ways. I'm sure I'll get to it eventually, but TV is a fictional reality that we put ourselves into. You know, like whenever we binge watch some TV show or something like that, we're putting ourselves into this reality to escape whatever's going on in our heads for that little bit. And in a lot of ways, like, TV lies to you completely. Like, having a baby, when we had Rhea and stuff, every TV show, every movie, they go like, oh, my water broke, just like this one. Oh, my water broke. We gotta get to the hospital. And it's like this mad dash, and then, the baby comes, and it's like, no, it's nothing like that. Like, Rosie's water broke. We went and had breakfast. Like, it's this whole long process. Like, it's completely different than what you... And that's just one example, but, like, TV is this fake reality that we think, oh, that's how the world works because we've seen it so many times on TV, but that's not really how the world works.
Well, entertainment in general is like that, though, because, like, I mean, especially considering we're talking about, like, a comic book in real life, is, like, comic books themselves over in I can't even think of the word. They over exaggerate things. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, obviously, like Superman and Batman, like, yeah, they're at their like physical peaks,
right?
But like, there's no way in like the real world that like a physical body is gonna look like that,
right? I remember having a conversation with Grandma years ago about, because I was really getting into comic books, and I was like, no, Spider-Man, because I was just really into Spider-Man comic books, and I was kind of acting like Spider-Man in some ways, or I'm like Daredevil, like jumping out of trees, swinging on big ropes, like flying off of jumps and stuff, and she's like, yeah, Spider-Man can do those things, but like it's just writers making up a story and putting it on a page, like in a way they're lying to you. They're saying that you are capable of doing these things that you're not capable of doing. You know, you can to a point, but like reality is reality, and like stuff can still happen. You know, it was my whole like wake up moment of like, whoa, I'm not invincible type thing, and it just made me start thinking about that. And on the meta level, that's kind of what this show is telling us, that like TV has been lying to us, and in the past it's lied to us like, oh, see, Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore and I Love Lucy, like all these shows had this like idyllic form of life that we were all lied to, kind of like, oh, the husband works and the wife's home all day and you got kids and there's some neighbors and you play Parcheesi, whatever. But then later on, the new shows that are coming out currently, and like that's what the progression of the show is it gets kind of more and more realistic, because TV over the years has gotten more and more quote unquote realistic.
See, but that's just it though. Like when it comes to like normal television, like people know that it's not real. Like,
yeah, but I feel like it still invades us a little bit. You know, you see so many times like, oh, there's a happy family on that show. There's a happy family on that show. There's a happy family on that show. Something's wrong in my life. Or nowadays, what we're lied to now is like the shows are so dark all the time. Like scroll through Netflix, every show is like, holy crap, there's a messed up family in that show. Or like, I don't know. Like there's so many messed up things on TV, like that it makes you think that the messed up stuff is like real life in some ways, and you start thinking like, oh, everyone just thinks horribly about everything, and I don't know. That's to me the meta narrative. So there's every line in here has like 5 different layers, but yeah. What do you think, Dustin?
Don't care for that last one.
No. Okay.
Don't think it pertains to anything that Wandavision. I think that's just what you're taking away and applying it to a different theory.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think that Marvel is trying to tell people about TV lying to them. I don't think that's their purpose.
No,
of the show.
But that's kind of what, if the show had a purpose, that is what I feel.
I think the show's purpose is to show a story about Wanda and Vision.
Yeah, that you're on plane 3 right now. You just got to elevate your thinking to plane 5.
Jesus Christ, man!
No, there's just
I'm just kidding.
a waste of time. It's a waste of time of thinking. That's all.
Sorry, I like watching things and like applying and thinking about them. Anyways, it's just interesting to me. But
it's like essentially just calling them dumb. Wow.
It was a joke, but anyways. So, back to the doctor. The doctor's like, we compare the babies to fruit sizes, you know, because it helps the women understand what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And like Wanda and Vision share this like look, like we're not dumb. Like, you know, back in the 70s they did that. They still do that. Like Rosie's pregnant right now, and like if you look at her like baby app, it says that her baby's the size of a mango. Like the first line, baby's the size of a mango. Like, but so that there's fruit all over this episode, everywhere. Yeah. Like Geraldine's eating an apple. She drops a whatever gourd or something off when she turns her belly, and there's a pineapple she's eating.
Oh, yeah.
And she hides her belly with a bowl of fruit. Like fruit is like a theme in this episode. I can't really put my finger on what it means, but there's definitely something to it. Anyways, each decade's kind of a day. I'm just gonna jump around, but like I think there's only been 3 days that have passed in this, because the first episode was working, then the night, and then the second episode, for sure between the second and third episode, it's just been one evening.
Oh yeah,
it's like 12 hours, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that it's jumping that fast. You know, it's taking place in over the course of a couple weeks. It's almost happening in real time to how we're watching it, you know. Well, no, because that wouldn't make sense. It's only a couple days.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a week, but it's only been 12 hours.
Right.
I guess I don't really.
The first
I can see
episode they had dinner and then probably went to sleep that night, and then the next episode could be the next day.
Yeah, because they start that episode where with them in bed.
Yeah, could be them sleeping that night, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Interesting. This is just a really crazy couple days for Wanda.
So I liked the so when the doctor's leaving and he's telling Vision that he's gonna go on a vacation. I like that they're going to Bermuda.
I know.
As in the one place most people get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. And then when he leaves, I loved seeing Herb cutting his or trimming the hedges, because seeing him saw into the wall between them. Yeah. I was like, dude, the wall's breaking.
Whoa, I didn't think about that.
Are you kidding me?
I was just thinking he was just like a broken NPC.
No.
Wanda's distracted, so he's just glitching out, just like that one girl was like, stop it, stop it, stop it.
He probably was, but the wall is still breaking.
Wall's breaking. That's awesome. I like the symbolism on that. Good
yeah,
catch.
And then
I don't know why I didn't even catch that.
He doesn't realize what he's doing.
Yeah, but he's breaking
just
the wall.
Oh yeah, and then just keeps going.
Yeah, that was funny.
Interesting. That's pretty good.
I thought it was just a glitch in the system.
No, I kind of took it as
on the three planes of things happening, it's he's just cutting his hedges. The second plane is he's a glitching NPC. The real world implications are the walls are breaking down. There's three things.
Well, he's a real person.
Oh, right? Yeah, that's just kind of cool. Interesting.
Did you guys freak out with the time glitch?
Oh yeah, that comes
first time. I was like, wait, what?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, wait, did I hit something?
I know. I think everybody, and that's why they did it.
And that just made me lean more towards your whole theory of maybe Wanda did blink and put something.
Because she blinked. She looked at him and she blinked, and then a second later, doop. So I'm like, I just cannot wait until for 2 months from now or something when they have some behind the scenes thing and they're like, yeah, every single time that Wanda blinked, something happened. Just like when she made Mr. Hart choke, and just when she did, and I'll be like, Dustin, I told you she blinked.
I don't know if I would say every time, because that would be terrible on an actress. As okay, you really have to be careful on how many times you blink while you're while we're recording.
I feel like I'm paying attention to blinking a lot more in this.
as Elizabeth Olsen's probably just hold.
I'm paying attention to people blinking now. From now on, I'm like, dude, you're such a good blinker.
Did you guys notice the different screen, how it went from full screen to wide screen?
That's near the end, but that was one of the coolest shots. The little time glitch thing. That. And then as soon as Geraldine leaves and she's like, she's not here. There was a really creepy element to this whole episode, and it just got creepier and creepier, and what is happening? And then
did notice that actually.
When it got to the creepiest moment, it expanded out, and you're like, something's gonna happen. It totally did.
I saw a theory online about because in the previous episode when the beekeeper comes out of the manhole cover and Wanda literally says no and then time rewound. Yeah. With no instance of that this episode, there's a theory that she's not the one controlling time. And somebody else did it so that Vision wouldn't.
I could see that, but they're the only ones in there. So, okay.
But they're not the only ones watching.
Yeah.
Now, here I have a weird theory that just came to mind. What if... Because there's theories that I've heard that this is post-Endgame.
Okay.
Which I kind of agree with, just because of everything that's popping up. So, what if WandaVision is working with S.W.O.R.D. somehow to create this reality for herself, I guess? To try to bring Vision back in some kind of way?
Well, we know that what happens in her pocket reality affects the real life. Because when Geraldine is expelled from there, she's still wearing the same clothes that she was in this episode.
Yeah.
So... whatever she creates in this universe, if it goes outside of her pocket universe, exists now.
Well, I know, but remember the static at the end.
Right.
Like, do you think this static is just some kind of field around, like a dome around this town?
That's what I'm gathering. It's kind of like a mix between the dome from the Simpsons movie,
right?
And
but an energy field,
and like the cloaking dome around Wakanda. Yeah. Like it's like
exactly.
Yeah, because like it's a dome around there. But you can see a town in the back.
But what?
But Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when you see the lights, you can see like that like white noise kind of staticky.
Yeah,
right.
Look around everything.
And when Geraldine first gets popped out, like in the background, you can see a house with its lights on back there. So like there's a town in there that you can still see from the outside world, but inside the like cloaked version of it is the pocket dimension where stuff is.
But I mean, like you also see like a safety like containment area that like kind of
the lights are around and
that looked like it reminded me of the original Thor movie when like they've got like all the plastic around like Mjolnir.
Oh, you can see that in the town.
There's it's like right when
outside.
She like pops out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it almost too convenient that the Doctor never made it out of town for their vacation?
I actually wrote that down
because they can't actually physically leave.
Well, he can't. Yeah. I think off screen we've seen that if we were just following the Doctor through this whole day, like it's like horrible stuff keeps happening to prevent him from leaving the town, just like in the Truman Show where he can't cross the bridge or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like all this stuff keeps happening because Wanda's kind of controlling it. The only one we see is that his car breaks down, but I feel like all this other stuff keeps happening to him to like keep him in the dimension, you know. So that's why he's like, it's small towns, you know, they're hard
his
to
exact
escape.
words were, I don't think we'll get away after all. Mm-hmm. So hard to escape.
Yeah. Again, like every little line in this just builds the creepiness. You're like, what is happening? And these poor people are getting controlled. And
yeah, because every line of dialogue and everything you see has a meaning.
Oh yeah,
according to Paul Bettany.
So. Yeah. After we watched this episode, I'm like, Rosie, this is the most densely packed half an hour of TV every week that I've ever seen. Like, there's so much in every.
Because with that, I was thinking about the fact that like, why did he like? I know that Vision was the one that went out to see him. But, like, the Doctor specifically said that to Vision, like, I don't think we'll get out of here. Like, do you think Vision's not going to, like, actually get revived at the end?
I thought he was talking about we as in me and my wife, but, yeah, maybe.
Which, oddly enough, I don't know if you guys looked into this or, like, dove into this either. I went through, like, all the, like, foreign language credits at the end. The Doctor is not mentioned in this episode at all. Even as Dottie and her husband are.
Uh-huh. The Doctor's not?
The Doctor is not labeled in any of the cast list on this.
Interesting.
I haven't looked online, but like on the actual like.
Speaking of the Doctor, his name is Stan Nielsen. Dr. Stan Nielsen. Do you know what Nielsen is? Mm-mm. No. Nielsen is a Nielsen family. It's a rating system.
Yeah, I saw this one.
Yeah. So like if you back in the day, if you were a Nielsen family, you would get.
The Simpsons did an episode on this.
You would get like I got sent one a couple months ago. Like it's a survey thing. There's thousands of questions on it, but asking like all these questions about what TV shows you watch, how often you watch TV, all this different stuff.
Oh.
And that packet goes to a survey company that compiles all the data, and it's the Nielsen rating for a TV. Like that's how they find TV ratings and stuff, and that's what they did back in the day. Nowadays it's a lot different, but back in the day it was just Nielsen, and the theory is that they only sent out these packets to Nielsen, like literal Nielsen families. Like if your last name was Nielsen, they sent you this packet because it was like a random name thing.
Well, I don't know. The Simpsons got it.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, I remember Homer had the
He
TV
had like 20 of them.
Yeah, that was so funny.
He's like, I am the Nielsen.
Yeah. This whole thing is just going to keep coming back to Simpsons.
They guess everything.
The 90s era is just going to be an animated WandaVision. It's The Simpsons.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
So just after the Doctor leaves and they're talking about or discussing like baby names. Mm-hmm. So once again, everything like means something. Every single line.
Yeah.
So like when Vision says like, oh, like wants to name him Billy.
Mm-hmm. After William Shakespeare.
Yeah, but specifically quotes "All the world's a stage."
I know. Again,
all the men and women merely players.
That is, I don't know. I love that so much because I'm like, dude, that is calling back William Shakespeare doing exactly what this show is doing. Because back in the day, when William Shakespeare was writing that line, it's a meta line because he's William Shakespeare wrote the line, so he's like Vision in this, or Wanda in this situation. The actor is saying the line, but then that applies to everyone in the room's life. It's like, whoa, that's a meta line, and that's a perfect line to put in this show.
So then shortly after her water breaks and the sprinklers go off. Before we get into the rest of this, can we talk about the commercial?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. What did you guys think about this little tidbit?
That was a little cool Hydra.
At first, I didn't even catch the Hydra thing. I'm like, Hydro soak. Wait a minute. They said Hydra. And I'm like, I'm onto something.
It specifically says Hydra soak.
I was all like excited, like, whoa. Oh.
And like literally says Hydra. Made in the U.S. And...
Yeah,
the picture.
Made in the U.S.
Do you realize what that picture is, though?
What's the Hydra symbol?
No. It's the Tesseract.
I didn't think about that. Oh. It's a little Tesseract. It's a little mini 70s Tesseract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find the goddess within.
So, I've been looking. I saw theories about this. So
who's the goddess in Marvel?
Exactly. Is it Wanda realizing like her true potential with like the powers that she has, or because like with the whole Salem 7 and like Mephisto coming out, like are they actually like, going to like release a goddess, and like especially like leading into the multiverse of madness?
So. Stay with me on this. But
stay with me.
I took the commercial. I was like, okay, put on my conspiracy hat. You guys ready? So the commercial starts with 4 different things happening to that one woman. The first one is a ball bouncing across her table. The second one's a dog peeing on the whatever. Third one's a burned turkey. And then the fourth is a blender going off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is starting off Marvel Phase 4. I wonder if all these have to do with the different phases of Marvel. And in Wanda's life, the crazy things that have happened in her life are a bomb coming into her room and like freaking out her and her brother and them thinking they're going to die. Just like the soccer ball. Again, I'm stretching here. I know this, but the second one is the dog. That in some ways is like Wanda getting her powers. So
No.
Now that I'm saying this,
we're going.
It sounds absolutely crazy.
No.
I'm just waiting for you to break your arm while you're reaching for this thing.
Yeah. But like messing up her life. The dog is messing up to making a mess. Anyways, the third one is the snap, the burned turkey. Like, I'm sorry, Mom, and the little kid says, I'm sorry, and the burned turkey is the snap. Then the fourth one, starting off Marvel Phase 4, is just this blender of absolute chaos, which is what we're going to get with the multiverse of madness and all this stuff. So I know it's a stretch, but I'm like, Right, and the only way you can get, like, the commercial's almost saying, like, put all that behind you. Put all these worries behind you. Find the goddess within.
Well, no, hold on. So the tagline for this commercial at the very beginning specifically says, "Escape to a world all your own."
Right. Yeah. So to get all this craziness and everything that's happening, to get through it,
the dog theme means Wanda got her powers.
I know how crazy that's.
Hear me out, guys.
Hear me out.
Dog urinating totally correlates to Wanda getting her powers.
The other three kind of make sense.
With the hand motions, by the way, I just feel like you're doing like a really bad Donald Trump impersonation. Like the dog here.
It's a great dog. It's the best dog in the world.
Best ever. Everyone agrees.
So with this commercial, I think mainly because like you doing like the sound and like production value stuff for like Avatar.
Yeah.
Do you notice that like beginning of this commercial had like classic like spy movie like soundtrack going on?
Oh.
Yeah, it was, well, not like that, but like it was very more like.
I saw some commercial online that this was almost directly modeled after. Like it was completely different sets and stuff, but like the bubble bath, the 4 planes, everything was like similar to it. There's some product, I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but yeah, it was just kind of interesting.
So obviously Wanda made the little crane come to life.
Yeah, and that was cool.
Stork?
I was like, oh, there's just a stork that popped up. But then on second viewing, I'm like, no, the stork that was painted on the wall is gone when she like peeks around the corner there. because there's a red beak, and then the red beak's gone. And I'm like, whoa! Oh. So that painting came alive just like the butterflies, which it's not a big thing. I mean, I should have just... It's probably not a revelation.
Where's
to
your 5 planes?
Alright, stick with me here. Tony Stark's snap is influenced by this stork. No, I'm just kidding.
You even have Stark come back.
Stork, get it?
Yeah. So, have you guys seen anything? Sorry, real quick. So, every commercial so far in the show has the same 2 actors.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys have or think that like there's any like concrete evidence about like them being like Wanda's parents?
That's the theory. I don't know.
Because
I saw an interview.
I thought she was born out of a cow or something.
No. Because
that's in the comic books. Yeah.
Oh,
but that was the midwife, not who her actual parent was.
A cow was a midwife.
Yeah, she was the doctor.
The one that delivers.
Not the mom. Yeah.
In the comics, like
okay, for some reason.
In the comics, though, their parents are Magneto.
I feel like no. Well, yeah. I don't think so.
Just shoot it down.
No. Well, I only say
Magneto was their father.
I only say that these people are not her parents.
Yeah.
What?
In the comics?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Magneto.
They tied in X-Men back then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So they have to do that for this.
Yeah.
Because the in episode 1 for
He's
this
still
series,
alive, right?
Who's still alive?
Magneto actor.
Which one? Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender?
Ian McKellen.
McKellen is
Yeah, he's still kicking.
Yeah. So the only reason I say no is because I saw an interview with the actor who plays the guy in the commercials.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting because he was just telling the whole process of how he got hired with Marvel and all this different stuff. But he wasn't told anything about the script. He didn't know what these commercials were for. He was just... I mean, in this commercial, he's literally just fanning with a palm branch. That's all he's doing.
Right?
But
he's the one voicing over it.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah.
But, like...
it could be because they're not going to be a big character anyway.
Because, in episode 1, when, like, you see on one of the wine bottles that's, like, pouring...
Yeah.
It has a label that's House of M.
Yeah.
Which do you know anything about the storyline for House of M?
Yeah.
Like, it's Wanda actually making like a false reality to like her kid, like Magneto, like gets to realize his like everybody gets their dream.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. I don't know. I had a note about when Geraldine came over afterwards and how she told her. She's like, Geraldine, what are you doing here? And she's like, no, it's Foxy. And for some reason, I had a problem with that line. I'm like, what does that mean? But no, I think it's just her telling her that her name's Foxy now.
No, she was saying the jacket looked foxy. It's the 70s now.
She's like, oh, Wanda, what do you make? It's 70 degrees outside. It's 70 degrees outside. Not it's the 70s, but it's 70 degrees.
No.
Outside.
I'm saying like the timing, like the years. Like this is more of like an early 70s, like when color TV starts happening.
Yeah.
Like
I'm reading too much into it, but she's like, Geraldine, now's not a good time. No, it's Foxy. You'll have to let me borrow it sometime. Oh, so maybe she's talking about them. Okay. I thought she's like, I don't know why I was like stuck on that. It's such a problem. Like my mind couldn't wrap around.
Specifically, you have to let me borrow it sometime.
I have all these conspiracy theories in my head. I'm like, which one does that line up with? Oh no, she's just asking about a coat. Okay. So from now on, I've called her Foxy in my notes, but apparently that's not her name.
Oh, so yeah, and then this is where she starts going into labor.
Yeah, well, after Foxy tells her story and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Or no, she had a little.
She starts telling the story.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading an article here. It says the Hydra soak, that commercial. Mm-hmm. It says it could speculate that there's a reference to the upcoming Thor: Love and Thunder, in which Natalie Portman will be the new goddess of thunder. Find the goddess within.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So
and
Thor
did you
with
guys
the Tesseract?
Did you guys
with
the Tesseract?
Well, there's that.
Well, the Tesseract got crushed anyways.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also
no, because you specifically see Thanos like crushes the Tesseract to like make. Like,
I know, but in one timeline, Loki took it and left.
Oh, ties in Loki.
Yeah.
Then
so there's been one other time in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, where blue soap has come up. Do you guys know where that's happened? No.
What article did you read this up?
It was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. You never watched that.
But
sorry, I feel like we just kind of like crapped on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, right.
No, but Coulson specifically says that Hydra... There's a blue soap that everyone uses, and Hydra put a chemical in it to mess with people's brains. And it's a thing in the episode. It's kind of played off as a joke, but it like is something that actually happened in the universe. Where Hydra put chemicals in blue soap and mess with people's brains, and like that. So it's kind of a reference to that. I feel like it's more of just like, hey, anyone who watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., here you go. So Foxy, Geraldine, Foxy's story, and so this part I knew I wanted to go back and watch because there was a lot of stuff happening at the same time, and I couldn't like make sense of it.
Yeah.
And I know there's probably more to it than I can even say, but there was Geraldine's story, and then there was the Stork, and they're both happening at the same time, and they like paralleled each other with everything that was happening. And I feel like something else is happening, but Fox. I'm just gonna say
Geraldine.
Foxy. Geraldine is telling the story about her boss and how she came up with this slogan, and her boss is upside down and trying to get rid of his hiccups and stuff like that. And then the Stork is doing all the stuff in the background. Which, what did you guys think of that whole scene? Nothing.
I kind of took it as like
it felt like a waste of time the first time I watched it, and I'm like, there's got to be more to this than I'm picking up right now.
I don't know, like, I kind of just took it as, like, the standard, like, TV trope of, like, or kind of, like, bringing in, like, Bewitched still, where, like, her powers are just kind of accidentally getting out of hand. Yeah. And she just... It's a standard TV trope.
Yeah. Where, like, things are happening, and there's two things happening at the same time, and
And you're trying to, like,
they did it really well, though. They, like, it literally overlapped with them multiple times. Like, then the client comes in, and then the Stork comes back. Like, it just, like, the things she's saying, like, happen at the same time. I literally wrote down, like, boom, 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 what's happening at both things, and it, like, parallels each other really well, which is kind of cool. But the Stork appears, and for some reason I thought there was two Storks, because the Stork went into the kitchen, and then it came back around the staircase, and I'm like, there's two of them. So, on second viewing, I'm like, no. I'm, again, reading way too much into stuff, but... goes in there. She's talking about a cereal with a marshmallow moon man.
Yeah.
And like that her boss had hiccups and he couldn't do the presentation, which again could have like a parallel between like Wanda not being able to keep up the illusion because she has a physical thing going on with her body, the pregnancy, you know. So I'm like, when it's all said and done, she comes up with a motto that's Gravity O's. Launch into your day the right way. And I feel like her whole story, because we know that she's a sword agent, or we're assuming she is, because she has a sword on her. If she's a sword agent coming into this reality to try to save Wanda or wake her up or do something, this whole story that she's saying, like in her in-universe character, she's basically trying to tell Wanda to deal with everything the right way. Like, deal with the loss of Vision the right way. Deal with all the crap that happened with Thanos the right way. Like, do it the right way. Not, this is crazy. You're overreacting. Do it the right way. That's kind of that's the, like, third plane level of what's happening right now. But that's how I read that. And it was really cool because, like, when the Stork made that noise, like that chittering noise, she just instantly gets up. She's, what was that? Like, she became real for a second. She came out of her character, and she's like, I can't act anymore. Like, something messed up is happening here. It was just weird. I don't know.
That's way into it, dude.
See, I kind of took it more of like a story, like her telling the story of like she wasn't the one who was originally supposed to be there. Like, because she got Wanda was like, "Oh, did you get fired?" Yeah. She's like, "No, I got hired. I got a promotion. Like somebody else might have been here besides me."
Yeah.
In your, like...
trying to do this job.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
And obviously she's not cut out for it.
That's kind of cool. Maybe the beekeeper was coming in there, or maybe the Mr. and Mrs. Hart were trying to do something. You know, who knows? And she's now the next person in line, like, trying to try...
Well, because Geraldine's in the same episode with the beekeeper.
Yeah.
Which, in the foreign credits, by the way, her character name straight up just says Monica Rambeau.
Do you think that Agnes she's the one that got fired because she wasn't, like, talking with Wanda at all this entire episode because she messed up in the last episode or something, maybe. So now Geraldine's turn to try to get close and do whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, maybe. I can see that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because, like...
she was still talking, she's still around, she's still part of the neighborhood, but she got fired
they both met in the, like, Agnes brings her to the, like, housewives meeting in the last episode where she meets Geraldine. So, like, they're all at the same table, essentially.
I'm not saying that Wanda chooses this. I'm saying the Sword Agency is choosing this, or someone else is choosing who gets close to Wanda. Agnes screwed up in whatever capacity, and then now it's Geraldine's turn.
Maybe. Well, I don't think she screwed up. She went in there and she like started trying to control her or something, or doing her own thing. Yeah, maybe that's a good theory.
Personally, like I'm pretty. I really think that like they're gonna go in the direction of like the Salem 7 with Agatha Harkness, and to me it seems more like Wanda is creating this whole thing, but like the 7 are like trying to like manipulate her and like do stuff, and Geraldine's just kind of like an innocent bystander or like sent in by Sword and kind of just gets caught up in the mess.
Yeah,
because that's why like you see Agnes like asking her like, "Oh, did you see her go in?" Like,
yeah, that was so cryptic and like, what are they talking about? Like, I love how they shot that, how they mixed the sound on it, because even though the volume's full up on my TV and stuff, you're like, wait, what are they talking about? Who are they? Did I miss something? Like, it just kind of drew you into the conversation. It was really
because in that same scene, like the crack in the wall is bigger in the second time you see it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, which bugged me, by the way, because like I know he's like sitting there talking with Agnes, but like when he walks away, he doesn't unplug the saw. It's already unplugged.
Yeah. So okay, let's just talk about this scene where there's the birth happening on. Oh no, that's different. But the scene where Vision goes out there and he's talking to the neighbors and stuff.
Yeah. That
scene to me was an amazing scene. Like, it was shot really cool. Like, it started off with the way they shot it like the old TV shows were shot, where like you can only see the character and you can kind of see the background, but it's blurry. Yeah. But then as the scene progressed, it changed the way that they were shooting stuff, so that everything looks normal in the world, but then when they turned it into like modern day filmmaking, you could see like, oh, there's a background border right there, like right behind where Herb is. I keep wanting to say Herb. right behind where Herb is, like the background's literally right there. Like they're clearly on a soundstage, so it like shows the cracks in reality, just like the wall. But like even the camera and the way that the cinematography went, it started out like, oh yeah, we're in a world. Here's the sitcom stuff going on, and then as the scene went on, it like did the frames, the aspect ratio didn't expand, but like the way they shot it changed, so like you could see the cracks in the world a little bit more. Just as Vision starting to kind of question things and wake up a little bit. It was just really good. So
we have her birth.
Yeah, and then that weird voice echo at the end of the second baby. Was it the second baby? One of them. Wanda's like, ah, but it sounded like all echoey and stuff, and it just reminded me of the Matrix when Neo gets taken out of the Matrix. I don't know why. It totally did.
So during the birth, did you notice how like so once again, like everything is like super detailed. Every like wall painting or like fixture is literally spiraling out of control.
Yeah, that was really cool. I saw all these like deep dives into what's in the paintings and everything. I'm like, holy crap! Like that's even more crazy conspiracy theory than I get.
So before she even mentions it, like afterwards when they're like standing over the crib, so like as they're during the birthing scene, I literally thought to myself, I was like, man, a twin is giving birth to twins, like
yeah.
And then she said, and I was like, yeah. Called it.
Well, later on, like that was the crazy thing. Like she's the one who pulled herself out because the babies are born, everyone's gone. Vision goes out and walks the doctor out and all that stuff, and Wanda's like, I was a twin, and it just reminds me of like every once in a while in life you have those conversations with people and you're just talking about something that like has to do with something in someone's life or your own life, and you just like open up like more than you probably should sometimes to people. and it's like this real moment, like, whoa, like you're talking about stuff that really impacts you. Like you're seeing behind the mask in a way, and like her mask completely came off right there. Like, you know, I was a twin. And then she starts singing that Sokovian like lullaby or whatever. And like, it was really touching, but at the same time, there was this like line of creepiness that like, something's happening here, something's gonna happen here. And then when Geraldine says, Ultron, and when
he was killed by Ultron,
when
right?
she said Pietro, and she's like Pietro, and she like says it with her accent or whatever, like she reverts back to that. And I don't know, when she's unconsciously doing stuff, like she's doing an amazing job acting this, because when something happens and she just reacts to it, or in this situation when she just opens up, she becomes herself again. And she says, you know, Pietro, and then she's like, you need to get out of here. And when she walks up to Geraldine, she does this thing like that she does in the real world and that she's done in all the Avengers movies.
Where she's already is.
Well, she kind of goes like her head turn, like almost like a snake, kind of.
Well, that's her like getting ready to like defend herself.
Like that's how she accesses her power. She's like this, and she starts doing that. She goes from like a housewife, whatever. I just had a baby. Like somehow I'm standing up, but and she goes, she like accesses her full power, and like I don't know. That's when the creepiness like hit. And you're like, whoa, okay.
I was ready to start. I was waiting for her to start using her.
Yeah,
power
I know.
Her and, like just send her through the wall or something. I was like, do it.
Also, I love how Geraldine's trying to like.
Not just poop herself?
Well, not just that, but like, when you like say something you don't mean to say, and she's like trying to find a way, like, oh no, what I meant, oh no, I said this.
You're just a strong mother, and I can say it again if you want. Yeah.
But it'd be like,
it sounded nothing like what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you gonna say that sounds similar to, oh, Ultron killed him, right? Be like, I don't think there's a way out of this. You're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wanda looking and acting like she used to. She has her head tilt.
That's when it cuts, because he's walking the doctor out.
Oh yeah.
And it cuts off to Agnes and Herb outside, because they keep talking about like, did Geraldine went in there? Like,
yeah.
The no husband, no home thing, like,
yeah, she doesn't have a husband. She doesn't belong here. She has no home.
Yeah, when she said no home, I was like, what?
She just told us that she came from her house, but okay.
Which makes me think more about the fact that she asked for a bucket, and she's like, yeah, I need to bail myself out.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But if you don't have a house, like...
Right. She just used that as an excuse to get in there. But yeah, that's when we see the screen widen, and that was just such a cool shot. I love when movies or TV shows do that, and they play with the aspect ratio and stuff of everything. And it doesn't just go and widen. It widens and then shrinks, because like it goes into the exact aspect ratio of modern movies. It was just a cool effect. And then it's like, okay, we're in the real world now, or in the
modern time.
Yeah,
getting more modern.
Yeah, it was just cool. And then she was ejected, and she had red energy all over. And I've seen a lot of people saying like, this is where Photon gets her powers, because she was ejected and had these powers. So they're theorizing that like all these people who are being affected by her reality are going to come out of this reality with some type of power, and that's where mutants will come from. But
but like Monica Rambeau like becomes Captain Marvel in the comics.
Okay, I know
she's
becomes
the daughter of Carol Danvers, right?
No, she's daughter of
that's what
Carol Danvers is co-pilot, whatever.
Yeah.
But she becomes Photon in the comics. Maybe she becomes Captain Marvel eventually, but I know she becomes Photon. But okay, so that's kind of all my notes. The two things I wanted to talk about before we end the pregnancy theories. The first one is, when she became pregnant in that episode, did she all of a sudden make everyone else pregnant, like other people in the world? Like, there's been TV shows that have done similar stuff to that. That's the first theory. The second theory is, has she been pregnant this whole time? Like, forget that other one, but like, you know how in this show they made a point of hiding her pregnancy behind bowls of fruit and behind this, behind that, behind a coat? Was she doing that in the first two episodes? And was she pregnant from the time of, like, if this happens after Endgame, did Vision get her pregnant, and then she was like pregnant at the funeral and all this stuff, and then it's just been slowly growing, and then she's starting to go crazy because she's like, I don't have my husband, I don't have Vision, Vision's dead, the snap happened, all this stuff happened, Thanos killed us, and Thanos killed my babies and me, and then all of a sudden she's like freaking out about pregnancy, and this is the pocket reality she needs to create her safe space. Because they also mentioned that, like, oh, women nest or whatever when they're pregnant, and like Vision is reading that book or whatever, and so she's kind of making her own nest to bring her children into the world. You know?
I think that was just another one of those TV
I'm just
tropes.
saying it's a theory, but it
My
could be
theory,
possible. What?
Once again with the Salem
Screw
7
your
here.
theory.
No,
What's your theory, Sherman?
So once again with the Salem 7 thing here. So do you guys know what like Wanda's kids are in the comic books?
They are Wicca and
but like
Wiccan and something else.
What they are, not who they are.
Imaginary.
So in the comics, Billy and Tommy are fragmented pieces of the demon Mephisto.
Okay.
So her pregnancy only happens after the magic show, where all the housewives of the neighborhood are involved or in the audience. Even Agnes.
Unless she's putting a glamour on everyone, an illusion to like make it look like she's not pregnant, like she is in this episode. She's just so far pregnant right now that she can't hide it. And
but like, I think like having all of them like in one area and having a magic show, especially like with how like cultish that sounds when like for the children, and like everybody says that except for Wanda and Vision because they're like, oh yeah, wait, no, for the children because we want to, and then they have twins. Like, that's what I think that's what's happening is, like, the pregnancy was forced upon them, kind of like Rosemary's Baby.
I wouldn't mind if they went down that road, but I really think that the witch aspect of it and the devil aspect of it is just going to be, like, a thing that's hinted at, and then what's actually happening is going to be, like, not as crazy sounding as that, because, again, it's Marvel. I feel like they're trying to, like, appeal to a lot of people and stuff. I don't think they're going to go as crazy. Like, all the conspiracy theories that we had about Rise of Skywalker before it came out, actually, that a lot of those came true. But, like, all the conspiracy theories that we had got crazy. And there's going to be, like, Darth Revan's going to be in, like, who knows? You know, there's all these crazy things.
He wasn't.
And they're hinted at. And if you're a true, like, a diehard fan, you see all those references. But what the actual, like, this is the story is, I don't feel like it's going to get that crazy, but I would be fine with it if it did.
See, and that, like, leading into Multiverse of Madness, though, like, it makes sense that, like, you would lead, like, a group of witches into something that deals with the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Like, to fight off, like, a magic enemy. Yeah.
And maybe they're leaning more, maybe Marvel's going to lean more into the magic aspect of the universe, because magic does exist in this universe, so... Yeah. I don't know. That's all I have. It was a pretty good episode. I know.
Okay. So, bear with me on this.
Okay.
Music.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys know that or, like, paid attention to the music for each episode. So, because you brought this up last week with episode 1 with Yakety Yak. On how, like, oh, like, you're not supposed to talk back. Have you watched the lyrics for, or read the lyrics for these?
No. Not, which one?
They are spot on for, like, every episode.
Like this last...
No. Every episode.
Okay.
So, Yakety Yak specifically... Oh, man. So, episode 1 had Yakety Yak. Episode 2, and this was also kind of spot on, for, the main song was Help Me Rhonda.
Okay.
And then this one had the main song of...
Dream something.
With... Cheer Up Sleepy Jean.
Yeah. No, yeah, they definitely did a good job choosing the right songs for this show.
Does Vision ever have super speed?
Yeah.
I know he can fly fast, but can he actually run quickly?
I really wish that they did the... I really wish they made the sound, but they probably couldn't get the rights for it.
So, like, in the last episode with Help Me Rhonda, like, the lyrics specifically say, I know it wouldn't take much time for you to help me out, help her get me out of my heart. And then a bunch of chorus here. She was going to be my wife and I was going to be her man, but she let another guy come between us and it shattered our plans. Thanos literally, like, shattered, like, Vision's head.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, there's so many different levels to this stuff. But even specifically in this show, they've referenced, like in the first episode when the heart was on the calendar. She's like, you fly faster than the speed of sound, and I can move objects with my mind. Why do we need to shorthand things? Like, so, I mean, yeah, it's been referenced before that he
fly.
It's faster than the speed of sound. I mean, that's super speed.
Can you run? There's a difference between flying and running.
Yeah, I mean, well, the doctor in this is like, we went so fast, I thought we were flying. So, I mean, maybe he starts running when he jumps up, and I don't know, who knows. All right, well, that's all I got for this episode. We're getting a little long here, but what's
you can close it out.
Yeah? Sherman, you got anything else?
Cheer up, Sleepy Jean. You once thought of me as a white knight on his steed. Now you know how happy I can be. Oh, our good times start and end without $1 to spend. Jesus!
All right, well, I think that's all we got for this episode of Phandom Knights.
Now in color.
Now in color. Oh, dude, we should have done
black
and white.
Yeah!
I didn't even think of that.
All right, we're redoing episodes 1 and 2.
I don't know if you saw the videos, but I'm doing like a little thing at the end. It's kind of cool. But thank you guys for joining us. If you like this video, if you want to talk more about WandaVision, we would love to hear it. So comment below, subscribe, like this video. Also, you can, if you want to become a Phandom Knight yourself, you can join us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, sort of. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
No, we're not Quick Trip.
Sure.
Oh, God, yeah, Quick Trip?
Not Quick Trip.
Do you guys have gas or a fuel card? Rewards card?